Since our unforgettable victory against Marseille in the Champions League, the team has been in strong form. We secured important Bundesliga wins against Freiburg and Augsburg, showcasing our attacking flair and resilience. Although we faced a setback away to Bayer Leverkusen, the boys bounced back impressively. Now, we look ahead to our Champions League quarter-final clash against Feyenoord. We know it's a big challenge, but the team is ready, focused, and determined to give everything on the pitch.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 51 of Red Bull KloppBot here on Sean Does FM with Leipzig. I hope you're doing well and come up today. Got the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and actually on paper it looks like quite a kind draw as we take on Feyenoord, but this comes off back obviously of the round of 16 in yesterday's episode. If you missed that one, against a rather controversially filled Marseille team that we did take on, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Played a couple more games in the Bundesliga off the back of that. You can see their top right corner actually did get beaten in one of those games. But first things first, some stuff's come through that you might find interesting off the back of that episode. First things first, we go over to the development centre because we had our youth intake here the third time at RB Leipzig. To be fair, not that good a one. You can see there it's only rated as below average. We signed a couple of players there who did have decent potential, and Benedict Franske, who is there as a sweeper keeper, the 15-year-old, little bit of potential, does look like a handy player. We have picked him up and he's down in our under-19s. And also Patrick Ebers, we picked up 1-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. He might be the pick of the youth intake players this season. His finishing could use some work. Most attributes could use some work, but definitely a handy player there who does look quite good on both feet. Apart from that, had a couple of players there with 3-star potential. Michael Bolton, brilliant name. Seyfuddin Kovac, another goalkeeper. Going down a bit further, the beefier Sukru Ake did quite well in the game against the under-19s. He picked up 2 assists. We signed him. And also Linus Alman, a left winger with 3-star potential. But overall, it wasn't that good a youth intake. You can see the other players that we did pick up who are in white instead of green, but that was our youth intake here this season at RB Leipzig. Just a little bit average, it is fair to say. So that's the first thing to cover off before we get stuck in to this Champions League quarterfinal. Next up, also had the NXGN list this year. After back in 2027, it was Uzziel Marban who picked that up. Again, this season had some players quite high on this list, but unfortunately, Mehdi Musavi from Utrecht picked it up. Alvaro Cuves at Bayer Leverkusen came second, but of course, he's on loan at Bayer Leverkusen from us. So technically, we have the player there that did finish second. I say technically Bayer Leverkusen. He's really ours, really good player. A little bit surprised considering how well he's doing this season. He didn't actually pick that one up, because if we look at the player that did win it, he honestly only looks a little bit average over there at Utrecht. But there's the next gen winner here for 2028. We've got there Cuevas, who finished second, and Veja, who to be fair, been doing a really good job as the domestic competition backup to Mohamed Kudus at right wing for us this season. He finished third, a little bit less current ability than someone like Cuevas, but his form this season has been excellent. 24 appearances, 8 goals, 4 assists, and 3 man of the matches. So certainly had a strong hand there in the next gen list this season. You could argue that the guy who was top probably could go down to third with that low potential that he apparently does have, the Iranian, but we've got 2 players there inside the top 3 of the next gen. So those are a few things thought we better cover off before the games that we do come back for in today's episode. We did play a couple of games in the Bundesliga off the back of that big comeback win over Marseille, 7-0 in the second leg off the back of a 1-0 loss away from home in that first league, either side of an international break, and that does tend to be when we struggle domestically here at RB Leipzig. First up though, backed up that 7-0 thrashing of Prison FC aka Marseille with a 3-0 win over Freiburg. A double there to Veja, and Xavi Simons picked up a goal there in the second half, but then we dropped points for the first time since that Bayern Munich loss back in January. A 1-0 loss away at Bayer Leverkusen. They're still inside the bottom half of the table, but of course we're in the Champions League this season. They're a really weird team in the Bundesliga this year, just pesky enough that on their day they can take points off you, and unfortunately we weren't quite our best here. Victor Boniface there got the winner at the hour mark, but apart from that, we were definitely the better team in that game. But to be fair, our XG wasn't that high there. 4 shots all on target, and their goalkeeper an absolute blinder as well. So unfortunately, feel a bit dirty about that one. A 1-0 loss before the international break when we did take on Bayer Leverkusen, but thankfully we came back from that and picked up a 3-1 win over Augsburg. Again, a goal to Vayar as well as Ben Seguir off the back of an equaliser to Armstrong Okaflex. And then Talis Magno, right on the 90-minute mark, made sure that we picked up all 3 points from that game. So it does mean we've dropped a few points off the back of yesterday's episode, and that also means our gap on top of the Bundesliga, it has shrunk down to only 8 points, but to be fair, only 6 games left in the season, so it's not too bad. 4 points further back to Bayern Munich, so you can almost say those guys might be able to title race a 12-point gap, probably a bit too much to be trying to overturn. If it was anyone but Bayern, you'd definitely be saying that, and definitely from Bochum down are out of the title race. And also, you'll notice that we've already secured qualification for the Champions League next season, and we've got a transfer budget of just under 60 million as well. So a bit of admin stuff that's come through off the back of yesterday's episode. Decent transfer budget, qualified for the Champions League, and a youth intake and next-gen stuff as well. But we're in the Champions League off the back of that win over Marseille in yesterday's episode, and we get Feyenoord, which, to be fair, on paper looks like a very kind draw for us here in the quarterfinals. Going back to what happened in the round of 16, they made their way past Dortmund though. So to be fair, that's not too bad a form considering that Dortmund are currently our title challengers here in the Bundesliga. And to be fair, they beat them pretty comfortably as well by a scoreline of 5-2. The other quarterfinals, they throw up Barcelona versus Paris Saint-Germain. Manchester United take on Arsenal in an all-English clash, but we're more worried about the bottom one. Manchester City take on the surprise package so far, you'd have to say, in the knockouts, Roma, considering they finished 24th, just snuck their way into the knockouts at all, and have made their way through to the quarterfinals. We'll see if they can beat Man City, and we'll take on the winner of that tie, provided that we get past final. But I'm pretty hopeful that we can do that, considering that this team is currently second in the Eredivisie behind RZ. So you'd like to think this is actually a really winnable tie for us here in the quarters of the Champions League. The manager likes a 4-2-3-1. Very popular formation both in the Champions League as well as in the Bundesliga. Their captain, handy goalkeeper there in Justin Bilbao. He looks decent, but to be fair, both Restes and Simon, they might have the wood over him if Simon is needed. Their vice-captain, Patrick Bird, a handy Norwegian defensive midfielder who spent some time at Bodø Glimt and Lons as well. But again, should have the wood over a player like that with options like Caicedo and Martel in our squad. And their key player, Mohamed Daramy, is an attacker, and to be fair, does look like a quite significant upgrade on the other players here that we have just seen, but worth noting, he's actually on loan from Manchester United, so not their player. So that's what the Feyenoord do look like. Their best player, certainly, is someone that we do have to pay attention to. Also worth noting, there's some other players in their squad who are of interest. Go over to the tactics screen and you can see they've got Emi Buendia, formerly, of course, from the likes of Aston Villa and Norwich in the Premier League. Ivan Toney up front. So to be fair, another potentially controversial character we take on here, but to be fair, I think a gambling issue. Not quite as bad as what some of the players we took on yesterday have been doing. And as well as that, if we look at the midfield, they've also got the likes of Albert Sambi Lukonga. So some handy players there in that Feyenoord team, but definitely in terms of overall strength, we should have the wood over these guys. Also down the bench, you can see they've got Rooney Baji. So a handy squad there at Feyenoord, but surely we'll have the wood over these guys and can make our way through to the quarterfinals off the back of that 7-0 thrashing in the second leg over Marseille. So fingers crossed we can get the job done here and make our way through yet again to the semi-finals of the Champions League. But obviously our first time going to Feyenoord in the safe. So before we play the first leg, it's time to check out the KloppBot's hotspots. And of course, with this being an overseas trip, we start off with some accommodation. The KloppBot gave us 3 options. We're going to go to the Novotel Rotterdam Brain Park. Interesting name, that one. But it's a 4-star hotel located approximately 3.7 k's from De Kuip Stadium, offering modern rooms, a fitness centre, and free parking. That's always great to make sure we don't have to pay for our minibus, making it convenient for team stays. Here's the website. You can see some photos of the interior of the hotel. It's a Novotel. It should be pretty decent, especially being 4 stars, definitely the best option there that we could stay in Rotterdam. You can go down further and see a bit more information about the hotel and what they've got in terms of rooms, as well as some other things there inside of the hotel services. And going down further, they've got a restaurant, they've got a bar, they do breakfast, there's the fitness centre, and also they've got a meeting and events room which we might need to use the night before this game that we do play. And to be fair, most of the reviews are quite good, so we're going to stay there at the Novotel Rotterdam Brain Park before this clash against Feyenoord and the free activities that the KloppBot has selected. Now, I think the first one might be inspired by that team we took on yesterday. It's a Prison Island challenge at Fun Village Rotterdam. We're going to engage our team in a unique blend of escape rooms and adventure trails at Fun Village's Prison Island. Teams work together to solve puzzles and complete challenges in various themed cells, promoting teamwork and strategic thinking. Also, if you don't beat Feyenoord, you might end up stuck there, because seriously, this is a pretty big gift of a draw for the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But here's the place that we're going to. They also do X-throwing, so that's quite interesting, and also prison golf, so we can do a few things while we're here. Some of them a bit dodgier, some of them not quite so bad. No idea what prison golf is. I imagine it might be mini golf in a prison, but going down you can see it's pretty much an escape room in a prison. So we're going to be doing their first up in Rotterdam for the activity the KloppBot has thrown up for some reason. He loves this sort of stuff, trying to escape rooms, even though it doesn't seem like the best idea before a Champions League quarter-final, in case some of our boys are a bit dumb and can't figure out a way to get out. But to be fair, a cozy drink and homemade dinner afterwards, that doesn't sound too bad. So hopefully some of the fellas do get out before their food gets cold. Next up, something a bit more relaxing. We've got the hot tub boat experience. Relax and unwind with a hot tub boat tour through Rotterdam's waterways. This unique activity combines sightseeing with relaxation, allowing team members to enjoy the city's architecture while soaking in a heated tub. Now, to be fair, most of the photos of this aren't of guys, so apologies that there's no football related pictures of this, but you can kind of see what's going on. It's a hot tub inside a boat, and I suppose it goes around it so you get a decent view of what's going on down the rivers of Rotterdam. But yeah, it's a hot tub inside a boat. Not too sure what else needs to be said about that one, but you go down the river while you're soaking in the hot tub. So to be fair, that could be quite nice. Hopefully no cramp off the back of that for the fellas before this game. And off the back of that, we're going to stay on the water. Not too sure if we can use those same boats. Probably not. We're going to do a river venture on the Mast River for an adrenaline-filled experience, something a little bit more exciting than the hot tub. We're going to consider a rigid inflatable boat adventure. This high-speed boat ride offers thrilling views of Rotterdam's skyline. Is an excellent way to energise the team before the big game. So it's all about prisons and waterways here in Rotterdam. Here's the website for the place that does this apparently. You can see it's a bit of a jet boat thing, something a bit quicker, and maybe get some better views and get the heart rate up there for the fellas. So less of the warm-ups needed before the game that we are going to play. You can see there, they obviously stop at some places and tell you what all the things are that you're going past. There's a bit of a better look at the boat itself, definitely probably a better motor and not quite so much water inside that one compared to the hot tub boat that we were just in. You can see obviously safety first with the life jacket and all that sort of stuff, but indeed a little bit there with a inflatable jet boat tour, I'm going to call it, there in Rotterdam. So a couple of waterway experiences, and of course the prison island thing, because the KloppBot does love locking us up for some reason, even though we definitely have no players with as dodgy a past as those ones that we saw yesterday at Marseille. But hopefully these free activities will get us ready to go and pick up a win in the first leg of this Champions League quarter-final. And here are the team sheets for the first leg of this Champions League quarter-final. First up, the home team going with a 4-2-3-1. All the big players there that we did see before. It's a handy-looking team, but one that we should be able to get the wood over here, even though this is away from home. In terms of us, just one change to our usual best 11. Got Kevin Keir there at left back, Hincapi on a heavy workload. Do feel like this is a game we can probably get away with that. Would have liked to have put in someone like Almas instead of Caicedo, but both those players are on a heavy workload. So to be fair, just thought we'd go with our best choice option there in terms of midfielder for a Champions League game, but hopefully can pick up a win away from home going into that second leg back at the Red Bull Arena. Albeit not the greatest start here in this game. An early corner here to Feyenoord, and they get a header off there through Costa. It comes off the woodwork and thankfully can scramble that one away. So not a good start, Feyenoord on the front foot, but thankfully still 0-0, albeit only a few minutes later. We are now down the other end, but unfortunately Bilo can come out and claim that one quite safely. Looking there, I think that was for Kudus at the far post. He'll pump this one deep. We win it in the air there through Martel, but that's a poor header. They get the ball back, but thankfully Xavi Simons gets that one back for us, does his man there in Buendia. down that left-hand side for Feyenoord. Picks out Martel, who finds a bit of space, takes on a shot. It's weak and it's wide, still 0-0, just shy of the 10-minute mark.
Yeah.
And right on the 10-minute mark, unfortunately, we've got an injury. Moises Caicedo, as I said, came into this game on a heavy workload. So did Aljif Almas, but going to have to bring him on here because he's our only option there in box-to-box midfield on the bench. Hopefully, that's not too serious. Early injury, still 0-0 though. And we have to wait until just past the half-hour mark for the next highlight of this game. Also, we've known that Otavio has been forced from the field for Feyenoord. Now both teams have been reduced in terms of an injury. But that's poor at the back there from Sambi Lakonga and from Bilo. It's a horrible back pass, and Bilo kicks it straight to Sesko. Open net, puts it away. It's an absolute gift. To be fair, this might make up for the semi-final in the Champions League last season, where Restes from memory had a little bit of a shock. But that's poor there from Sambi Lakonga, and then from Bilo. Sesko, far too good to miss out on an open net, and gives us a 1-0 lead. And only a few minutes off the back of that goal gifted to us there by Bilo. Now we've got a free kick here inside the final third. Go far post, and Castello Lukeba will rise up and put that one away. Fingers crossed he stayed onside. This could be a really good period for us here, just shy of half-time. And indeed, that VAR check may as well not have happened because it's been cleared very early. Nice free kick there from Simons, and Lukeba out jumps the guy there at the far post. Thankfully, just took that step back to make sure he was onside. So quick fire double there to give us a 2-0 lead. 5 minutes shy of half time. And in fact, now there's a highlight starting here with Feyenoord having a throw in just inside of our half. Bilo plays that one out there to better seeing, and now it goes back to Bilo, who takes his time on the ball, but again Sesko puts him under pressure. It's another hell of that from Bilo, and Sesko can put that one away. The goalkeeper there having an absolute stinker here for Feyenoord. That's now 2 mistakes he's made. To be fair, the first one got put under pressure by Sambi Lakonga. That one, there's not much of an excuse, just didn't get under that quite enough to clear Sesko. 3 goals there in the space of only 8 minutes. We make our way into 3 minutes here of added time. We're just going to check and see what rating he is on now, the goalkeeper, because no doubt it's an absolute stinker. But now Feyenoord actually with a chance late here in the first half. But thankfully, Daramy, that effort I'm pretty sure got blocked by Connor Bradley coming in from right back. So thankfully, still got a 3-goal buffer here. It looks like going in to half-time. We clear that one away, and Berg gets the ball back for Feyenoord, but thankfully that highlight comes to an end. It was a pretty even game there at about the half-hour mark, and indeed Bilo on a 6.1, having an absolute stinker. To be fair, that's been the big difference maker, gifting both goals to Benjamin Sesko and also the other one to Lukeba. Obviously very happy with how this one's going. 3-0 at half-time in the away leg. And we don't have to wait long at all here for the first half of the second half. Just 1 minute and we'll go thrown inside of the opposition half. Kier plays that one to Lukeba, who has already scored a goal in that first half. Now Zabi gets that ball back, goes out to Kudus, who will take on a shot, but to be fair, Bilio that time comes up with a decent save, making up for those errors that led to that Sesko double in the first half. Almas though goes looking for Diamonde from that corner. Unfortunately, can't quite pick him out. Kudus will float that one far post. This time the goalkeeper comes out and claims it. Still 3-0 early in the second half. And just my way forward to the hour mark in this game, feeling like we've got us pretty well into control with a 3-0 lead so far. Feyenoord not too much off the back of those errors that the goalkeeper did make in the first half. So quite a few players out there on some deep yellow hearts. And we've actually got KloppBot coming up next in the Bundesliga, who sit in 5th away from home. So that could be quite a big game if this one might be over Red Rover by the end of this first leg. So we'll make the rest of our subs. Malhero at right back. We'll put on Norby there in central defence. We can switch him with Lukeba, so Diamonde can come off. Also, we'll bring on Drago at left wing and Killian Salk at right wing as well. And a highlight there where Feyenoord were on the ball, but thankfully win that one there down our left-hand side. And Martel now starts to make his way out right, albeit that pass a little bit poor there, and Berg can get Feyenoord here on the attack. But to be fair, good sliding tackle there to get that ball back for us, and it's played through to Benjamin Sesko. A little bit fortunate that that ball fell to him, but he beats Billiao, who must be sick of the sight of Sesko in this game, and surely that wraps us up already, even though it's not quite full-time. In the first leg, it's Xavi Simons who plays that ball through. Someone there gets a foot in it, but can't quite get past Sesko to get that ball back for Feyenoord. He puts that one away in the bottom left corner to complete a hat-trick here in this Champions League quarter-final. Sesko having an absolute day out here and making it 4-0. And we just stuck our way into the last 20 minutes of this game. A free kick there to Feyenoord. Bendia tries to put that one far post. Thankfully, head that one away, albeit Savali gets Feyenoord here back on the ball. But at the moment, looking pretty good for maybe showing you guys the Gladbach game instead of the second leg of this one, seeing as that could be quite big in the Bundesliga title race. If we can win that off the back of dropping those points against Bayer Leverkusen, that would certainly make up for that result, seeing as that one does look quite tricky away from home and surely not going to blow a 4-goal lead in the home league, even if we put out a bit of a rotated team. But on the attack again, here's Kylian Sal. We'll square that one. I think there's Xavi Simon's got on the end of it. Unfortunately, Feyenoord just get some bodies in the way there and can clear that one somewhat out to Daramy down the left-hand side. And now there's a throw for them here, bang on the halfway line. Costa will play that one there to Balassi, and of course played that one back earlier to the goalkeeper before that second Zesco goal. To be fair, not much fault on him for that one. The goalkeeper had a bit more of an error rate on that one compared to the previous one through Sambi the Conga. And speaking of goalkeeper error rates, Daramy floats that one over the top of Restes, and Rooney Bargi off the bench puts that one away. Not too sure why he's not starting, to be fair, considering how good a player that he is, but Restes makes up for the 2 errors there by Billiard down the other end. That's a pretty poor effort from him there in goal for us, and there Rooney Bargi can grab a goal back for Feyenoord. So maybe this one's not quite over just yet, with still 10 minutes to go in the first league. But if we can score one more goal, it should definitely be all over. Udrago here, just outside the box, goes looking for the top right corner. It's a brilliant save that from Billiard. So definitely having a better second half than the first half that he had. Now Algif Almaz will try and get us here a goal from set piece. Unfortunately, can't find anyone there at the near post. Xavi Simons gets us back on the ball. We played over there to our left-hand side, but eventually that highlight does come to an end. Start to make our way here the last 5 minutes of this game. Very happy, apart from that mistake that Restes did just make to give Feyenoord a slight way back potentially into this game, but surely not going to lose by 3 goals at home off the back of that impressive first league performance. Benjamin Sesko with a hat-trick. To be fair, 2 of them were absolute gifts, really. That probably should have been a 2-0, considering that Restes also made a mistake which led to the final goal. But overall, very happy with that first league performance. Lukeba also popping up at the 37-minute mark, with 3 goals there just shy of half-time, largely helped out there by Bellier, who somehow's got himself back up to a 6.5. That's quite generous considering the mistakes he made there in the first half, but a very good advantage that we're going to take into the second leg. Need to think now actually if we need to show you guys that, or instead that Gladbach game in the Bundesliga, and it might set us up for a clash against Roma as they hold a 3-2 lead over City off the back of their away league. So a very good first league win for us there in the Champions League, and it does mean I think we can come back a couple of days earlier than I planned and take on Gladbach in the Bundesliga instead. But of course, Moises Caicedo went off quite early in that first leg of the quarterfinals. He's injured with pulled ankle ligaments. Thankfully, nothing too serious, only out for 5 to 12 days, so we'll miss the second league. But considering we've got a 4-1 lead, that should be okay. Hopefully it doesn't prove costly in this Bundesliga game that we're about to play. But we're going to take on Gladbach here away from home. A tricky task considering these guys sit 5th on the Bundesliga table. Their recent form, though, isn't too great. They lost to Bayer Leverkusen, Mainz, Eintracht Frankfurt and Bayern Munich. The only recent win has come against Nuremberg, so a little bit surprising they're still actually up there in 5th on the table considering how poor that recent form is. But the manager yet again does like a 4-2-3-1. To be fair, I think the captain and vice-captain, same as what it was the last time we took these guys on camera, and Julian Weigel and Jonas Omlin, the key player. Not too sure about that. Cesar Huerta, who is a Mexican winger, he looks handy. But again, this is a team that we should have the wood over, so hopefully we can pick up a win here in the Bundesliga in the slightly thrown together second game in today's episode, because surely Feyenoord aren't going to overturn a 3-goal deficit at home in that second league. So hopefully we can pick up some points here in the Bundesliga and make sure that gap on top of the table stays at 8 points. And here are the team sheets for this tricky Bundesliga clash away from home. First up, it is Gladbach at home. They are going, as you saw before, with that 4-2-3-1 and does look like quite a strong team. Now, in terms of us, a couple of changes. Got Simons there in box-to-box midfield and Seguir in the cam role. That's because, unfortunately, Almas on a heavy workload coming into this game. So we're going to try their Simons in a bit more of a central pullback role compared to what he usually does. And also, we've got Marban up front instead of Sesko for the same reason on a heavy workload. So a couple of changes to our regular best 11 that hopefully can still pick up a result here away from home. And just shy of the 20-minute mark to get the first highlight here of this game today. We are in the blue with the slight red trim there with Gladbach in the white with the black trim and on the attack here from this first highlight. Unfortunately, they can clear that one away, albeit not too far. Diamonde gets that ball back, plays to Martel, and now Connor Bradley is on the ball. Martel finds Mohamed Kudus with a really good effort that one and puts it away into the top left corner. We take a very early 1-0 lead here away from home. So hopefully we're going to back up that good performance in the Champions League with one here in the Bundesliga. I'm hoping that if we get the job done here, we should be able to go pretty heavy rotation in the Champions League with that 4-1 lead. So our first team players will get a bit more of a rest in that Champions League second leg than I was thinking might be the case, considering it was a quarterfinal, but a brilliant start. We go one lap early, albeit now we're down the other end here for a free kick to Gladbach. Thankfully, a good save there from Restes, but it goes back out to Elvedi, and he puts it away at the second time of asking. So unfortunately, they make it 1-1, only a few minutes off the back of that Kudus goal, which did give us the lead. Nice chance there for Elvedi, but Restes came up with a good save, and unfortunately, Nets there picks up the assist for that second helping, and Gladbach make it 1-1 halfway through the first half. And with 10 minutes to go in the first half, next highlight here, a free kick in our favour down our right-hand side. And let's flick on here to that one from Martel, and Tallis Magno will poke that one home. Now, fingers crossed, he stayed onside and does give us the lead back, and thankfully that is the case. So we're back in front here after only 10 minutes. A good free kick there yet again that we score from Martel. Heads that one down, and Magno can put it away 2-1 in front with 10 minutes left in the first half. And it looks like that might do it for the first half of this game. A couple of highlights for a couple of goals, but thankfully 2 of those have been in our favour. Martel with both the assists, albeit Marban did actually set up that second one with the free kick, but thankfully 2-1 in front off the back of that equaliser to Elvedi off the back of that Kudus opening. We're going to take off here both of the players on yellow cards. So it's going to be Malhero at right back for Bradley, and Diaz on the bench for this one, obviously with Simon starting in box-to-box midfield, so he can come on there for Seguir in central attacking midfield. Those will be our subs going into the second half. Fairly happy with how it's going, but we'll tell the guys they can probably do better in the second half. Hopefully grab a cushion goal and make sure we pick up all 3 points at Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, 6 minutes after coming onto the field, Malhero here has picked up a red injury, so it does mean go to make a sub early here in the second half. Thankfully, Kevin Keir still on the bench and can cover right back. Definitely not something I'm liking to do, is a bit better at left back, and also did just debut for England as a centre back as well, but we'll try him here at right back with that Malhero injury. Still 2-1 in front. And just going past the hour mark, time for us here to make yet another sub, because Martel's dropped down to a red heart, going quite well, obviously, with those 2 assists, but Manga can come on him. 1 sub left, and we're still 2-1 in front. And only a few minutes off the back of that sub that we did make in defensive midfield, there is a free kick there to Gladbach, but thankfully we can head that one away, and Kudus actually might get a chance to get us going here down that right-hand side, but unfortunately loose touch gives that ball to Nets, who of course picked up the assist for that first goal that they did score. Now Orestano there does get Gladbach going forward. It's a looping header from Turgeman, and somehow Restes has let that one get past him. This could be interesting. Hopefully he was offside. He is not. Restes there. Not great work, I think it's fair to say, because that did look like a pretty easy header he should have been able to deal with. Indeed, he probably could just walk there to his right and save that one, but for some reason he flops on the ground like his name's LeBron, and it goes past him, and it's 2-2. So Restes now has come up with a couple of poor errors in the 2 games we've played in today's episode. To be fair, can't complain too much considering what happened with Feyenoord in the first leg of that Champions League quarterfinal, but still, it's not great, especially in a game of this magnitude. Unfortunately, a few minutes off back looking for Marban there inside the box, but that ball a bit too close to Omlin. He can claim that. We'll pump this one deep down the left-hand side. Hincapi wins it in there, and Magno. Interesting pass, but thankfully we get it through Diaz, but then we lose out on the ball. So Gladbach here, it looks like coming home with a little bit of a wet sail in front of their home fans, but good short passing there down our right-hand side, and Diaz now makes his way into the final third back to Kudus, who loops this one over for Tallis Magno, and unfortunately that one goes just over the bar. 2-2 with 20 minutes left. And a few minutes off back of that previous highlight, we're going to make our final sub here. We do have Simons who's dropped down to a red heart, but I think the bigger difference maker here might be taking off Marban on a 6.5 for Benjamin Sesko. Let's hope he doesn't get injured because that would be a very bad thing while we're in a title fight and also looking quite good to make the semis of the Champions League, but unfortunately it's still 2-2. And we'll just think around the last 5 minutes of this game, still locked up at 2-2 so far, no impact from Benjamin Sesko, so it's time for us here to go a bit more attacking, go wider, be more expressive, and tell our goalkeeper to distribute quickly. I don't think we'll change the roles, considering if we do go a bit too attacking, then Gladbach could grab a winner, and that would be even worse than a draw. To be fair, a draw, not a terrible result, but hopefully we can find a way to pick up all 3 points. But so far, a little bit dirty at rest is for that second goal that we did concede, and unfortunately, it looks like that will be the difference maker there. In the second half, went into half-time with a 2-1 lead, Martel picking up both assists, but unfortunately, a bit of a shocker there from Restes. It felt like off the back of that looping header from Turgeman, off the back of Elvedi grabbing them the equaliser in the first half. So unfortunately, it's a 2-2 draw. Even have a little go there at Restes for that performance, because honestly, that wasn't too good, that second goal, which we did concede. So unfortunately, a couple of drop points there away from home in the Bundesliga title race. It does mean that for now, our gap on top of the table goes down to 6 points over Borussia Dortmund. And going for a few days off back in that Bundesliga game, here's what happened in the second leg of that Champions League quarterfinal with our 4-1 lead, really over off the back of this own goal here. Dipped a bit harsh, that one wasn't credited to Udraga, but 1-0 up early, and that made it 5-1 on aggregate. Unfortunately, about 20 minutes later, Ivan Toney popped up on the score sheet to make it 1-1 on the day, but late on here, Kudus down our right-hand side plays the ball back there to Adam Asnauer, who starred this game. Kudus gets it back there, slots through Xavi Simons, who can beat Bellio, who no doubt will be hating this tie, considering all the shockers he made in that first leg. Actually did quite well in the second leg, but a 2-1 win there in the second leg, and we go through 6-2 on aggregate. So I think coming back for that Gladbach game was a good decision instead of showing you guys all of that one. We did just play there against Feyenoord, but overall, that was a very comfortable win over both leagues. Obviously, the goalkeeping errors in the first league did help us out, but thankfully bounced back there from those drop points in the Bundesliga with that second win over Feyenoord to make sure we do go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. And here's what happened in the other quarterfinals. Barcelona just do enough there to get past PSG off the back of a narrow win there in the first leg. Did lose the second leg, but they do go through the semi-finals where they'll take on Arsenal, who got the better of Manchester United there 3-0 in the second leg off the back of a 1-1 draw in that first one at Old Trafford. Obviously, we go through very comfortably over Feyenoord, and a little bit surprisingly yet again, we'll take on Roma. A 0-0 draw in that second leg at home does mean they make their way through the semi-finals after they finished in 24th place in the league phase. So Roma, having a really good knockout period here in the Champions League, will take them on in the semi-finals in tomorrow's episode and hopefully get past that step this season and then have a Champions League final against one of Barcelona or Arsenal. So that's what's coming up in tomorrow's episode. A quick look at Roma, but we'll have a better look at them in tomorrow's episode. Graham Potter, of course, he was the Bayer Leverkusen manager that we took on in our first game here at RB Leipzig. So hopefully can get the better of him there with his 4-2-3-1. Seriously, everyone's doing it just like we are here at RB Leipzig. But hopefully our slightly asymmetrical one can get the better of Roma, considering that they're 7th in Serie A and didn't do too good a job in the league phase of the Champions League. Hopefully can end their fairy tale journey there in the knockouts and make a Champions League final here at RB Leipzig. And also, quick update on that Malheiro injury from that previous game, out for 2 to 4 weeks. That one actually a bit more serious than the Caicedo one, but thankfully got Adam Asnauer, as you saw in that second leg, who can step up from our B team. But that will do it for today's episode. Pretty comfy there in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Pick up a 6-2 win over Feyenoord. Do drop points though in the Bundesliga against Gladbach, but thankfully still have a 6-point gap there on top of the table. If you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Until tomorrow, we will come back for the Champions League semi-final against Roma. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.